Mm-hmm.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Forever and a Day After Show here on JLJ Media. It's been like forever and a day since we've been here.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
I'm James Lott Jr., one of your hosts. And of course, the Chocolate Twins live, Tony Moore.
Hi, I'm the other host, Tony Moore.
And below us, I think she's below us the way they're showing us, but she's not below us in life. She plays Katelynn. Yes, one of the lesbians on the show.
Lesbians.
On the show. I love her character. She loves her brother Colin. She's just out there trying to work it out with Lakin. Our girl, Lacretia Lyon. Hi, Lacretia.
Yay!
Welcome to the show. So, yeah, we weren't on last week because there was no shows last week. And next week is our finale. It's the season finale. There's only 2 episodes left. And Tony Moore debuts. They debut.
I debuted with a number of lines. I play JJ, the brother of Danielle, who is the founder and overseer of Trash.com. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Trash.com. Yeah, Trash.com. They went very literal with that, with trash.
Yeah. I swoop into town and not using the line that I said I was going to use. I don't know why no one listens to me.
Say it for the fans, though. They love to say it.
I literally was supposed to show up in the last 10 seconds of episode 14 with a knock at the door, and Danielle opens it, and I just simply go, "Hey, guess who's back? Tune in next season for Forever and a Day, season 2.
I love it.
No, they rewrote it and got me all kinds of lines, which I'm grateful for.
Yes. He'll be acting his ass off on audio. So so next Sunday, who knows what shenanigans we'll have next Sunday? But it'll be the finale episode.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. I love shenanigans. Tomfoolery. So we're gonna do some nasty next Sunday, so that'll be fun. Okay. We're talking about episodes 11 and 12, but first I got to do what Tony says, the church announcements.
Yes.
It's Soap Sunday. It is Soap Sunday, bitches. The Wide Arm Mini Spotlight is out already. It's Miss Katelynn and I having a great conversation about where she was when she found out she got her star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Very interesting. And who she's worked with all these years. We talk about Elizabeth Hendrickson and Greg Rickard and everybody she loves, everybody, and a storyline she'd like to see happen if they would write it for her. But she's still grateful to have a job, and I always wish I had her on a flight. She's still a flight attendant. She's still doing both, so it's kind of fun.
She says soaps are shaky, honey. I gotta keep my job. I am keeping my job.
Hey, 38 years it's worked. So Katelynn, JLJ Media, Y&R Mini Spotlight. Go ahead and check that out. That's out now. Right now we have this show going on. Then after this, Bone Mini Spotlight is going live for the first time. We're going live at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going live. Me, Tammy Govea, and birthday girl Amanda Russ will be talking about blow-up dolls and kisses and Quinn and all these things happening on that show. So we're going to talk about that show. I think the blow-up doll thing, the fake wigs and stuff. We're going to talk all of that on Bold and Beautiful Mini Spotlight. That's coming to JLJ Media. And then later today, the Chocolate Twins are back again. It's me and Tony Moore on the Dish and Days YouTube channel. Tell them.
Yep. Well, we're going to give you a full dish. A full dish.
Accessories.
A full dish.
How hilarious.
Of this week's episodes of Days of Our Lives. Live.
We are at 3 p.m. time on the Dish and Days channel. So that's
right.
So go there, subscribe, and then watch me and Tony as we do our shenanigans on that show also. And I'm going to do a Look Who's Related. It's a triple related edition. Let me do that. And then at the end of the night, it's me, Lacretia Lyon, and Frank Moran talking 5 years of recapping General Hospital.
Lord. Is it y'all's anniversary today?
Yes, 5 years.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
We followed Dish and Days, and we came on in September at this time, and so 5 years, and the tears that happened all this week. I'm still crying from Mike's death and other things. And Nicholas and Ava had sex. So we didn't
made love.
What do you think, Lucas? Was it love?
Sure.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
They cut away.
That's the soap world. You know, no one has sex.
Oh yeah,
it's love. They made love.
They had a
Daytime.
Making whoopee.
They made whoopee. So we're talking about that live, 6 p.m. Thank you tonight.
Oh, you got a full day, honey.
I got a full day of soapy goodness.
You got a full day. Listen, after Dishing Days, I'm gonna plop myself on this couch and watch the Emmys.
We have the Emmys tonight, right? So it's the Emmys tonight and Big Brother.
Oh, yep. And I'm gonna be sitting here for all of it.
Me too. All that too. I'm curious how they're gonna do the Emmys because it's Jimmy Kimmel hosting, right?
Yes.
Virtual.
So that should be good.
This should be good.
Virtual Emmys.
Yeah, virtual. This should be very interesting to see what he does. So I'm very excited for that. So that's your day, of course, of stuff. So Dishing Days, YouTube, JLJ Media, YouTube. Follow it all. Do it. And Lacretia has Believe soap operas. What's going on for your show?
Let's see. We've got Ben Bryant, who you'll meet next week on Forever and a Day, I think. Gregory Marshall does debut then. He was on this past week, and then the second half, because we always talk too much. I have to split it up because no one wants to hear us blab for more than an hour at a time. So yeah, I'll have the second half of our chat next week where I get a little judgy of the parenting skills of General Hospital's living ladies. And Jerry Waggett, who has been on James's daytime Emmy special with me. And another thing, Jerry and I just talked forever, so it's probably 2 or 3 episodes. So we'll see.
Yeah, so Jerry Waggett is a friend to JLJ Media. We do a show together with Walker Ragsdale. We did the Emmy specials. They were very successful, and we love Jerry. He's a soap writer and been around for years. I have all his soap books, and he's great. So Jerry Waggett's great, and he and I are doing my left-handed show tomorrow. So he'll do my left. So he's all over JLJ Media. He's kind of he's all over the place, and with Believe. So far, I've been on the show. Tony, you've been on Lacretia's show too, right?
No, I haven't been on.
Yeah.
I know. I need to have Tony. We need to talk all Dish Days, you know.
Dish Days.
I feel like Tony and I would have all the shade.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready.
Tony, show that plate. That's going to be serving it hot, right?
Someone asked for shade?
It's always cooler in the shade.
Is it?
It is. It is. Okay,
Not the way I serve it.
So now Lacretia plays Kate. Like I was going to say, Katelynn and Lakin. Kate, like all these things. Katelynn and Lakin and Colin, these names are killing me. And I want to say, you know, it's very interesting because I love your character. I love what you're doing with it. I love your voice on there and everything. What's it been like for you doing this audio soap opera, just in general?
It's funny because at the beginning of this pandemic, when we were so uncertain, I remember saying to you on my podcast, Believe in Soap Operas, this is where I feel like we could go as an industry. Soap started on the radio. Let's put them back, because podcast is probably the #1 thing right now. It's trendy, and I feel like it's going to stick around because you can listen to it on the go. And it's great to sit down and watch, you know, General Hospital and Days of Our Lives, of course, our favorites. But when you're in your car, you shouldn't be doing that, I guess. So, yeah, how awesome is it to have podcast soap operas? And I hope that we start to see more of these, because this is the natural progression, you know, sort of like how it went back to vinyl. We're kind of going back to the radio. Because there was on Audible, I've been listening to Neil Gaiman's Sandman, when you've got James McAvoy. I mean, you're going to start seeing probably more of this stuff pop up. So I'm just glad to be on the forefront of it.
JLJ Media is bringing 3 to Mistletoe Road, Fairview Heights, and Manchester Avenue. So I'm going to bring them to you guys also. But yeah,
and I'm just over here dishing days.
I might have you on one of my shows, Tom. I need to have a role for you on one of my shows. No, but I agree with you. We did talk about that. It's like, this is something we kind of do now. Is we got to be innovative. You couldn't film in person back then either. You couldn't get together.
Yeah.
Tony and I talked about it too way back then. We're just saying this is actually a smarter idea. Is that because right now, remember, there was no soaps on at the time, so for days. So it's kind of like you need to get something going to fill the void. People want the drama. They still want the drama, but you know. And you're right. It's so portable. It's mobile. You can listen to it anywhere. I mean, Tony listens to it in the car sometimes or whatever. I listen to it somewhere outside in the garden or whatever. I don't have to be stuck to a dedicated spot. As long as I have good Wi-Fi, obviously, or whatever, the connection. But I love this idea of having to listen. It's a whole different experience having to listen, though, than watch.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. And so when they approached you and said, okay, you know, I mean, I know who you are, but they're like, you're going to play a lesbian. How far is lesbian? And part of this big family that's conservative. Like, So was the role just really exciting to you when you heard it?
Yeah, because I've always been drawn to complicated people, and that's sort of an interesting character to play. You know, this lesbian or, you know, closeted lesbian in a conservative family, which sort of makes sense, especially with my family background. I mean, I'm from the South, so obviously, even though most of my family is very liberal, I grew up in a very conservative place. So there was a lot for me to draw from. So I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a character. Plus, you know, while I'm not gay, I mean, I certainly feel like I could bring life into this character. These experiences are human experiences. And certainly with your wrestling with not just your sexuality, but keeping a secret. And, you know, you love someone who maybe not everybody's going to, you know, react well to. That's human. So who cares, right? It's just fun. And two, you get to see a side of yourself maybe that you maybe didn't realize was there, or you are just learning about, like, hey, what it's like to be in that person's shoes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm in love with Colin. That's my character.
Yeah.
And with Quinn, of course, Van Antwerp. I love him.
You in love with the character?
I'm in love with I didn't know that. I'm open about that. Well, I'm in love with Quinn. Him and his girlfriend are the cutest, though. They are the cutest. They're on some road trip right now. It's really cute.
Yeah, I love their road trip pictures.
Yeah, Quinn, I'm in love with you, and I'm also in love with your character, Colin. I feel for him, especially these episodes because I really felt for him. But you guys, they really been showcasing your brother and sisterhood. How nice? You have a brother you're close to. How's that like in real life?
Yeah, that's to me the easiest scenes are the ones with Colin, because I can easily draw from that. It's very much like the dynamic between me and my younger brother, Jared. And so, yeah, and having a great actor like Quinn, who's been on Broadway and stuff, we can make choices and we can be in the scene together and it just works. I mean, it's similar to, say, like Julian and Ava, only less, you know, incesty, where it just sometimes people just work.
So was the chemistry between you and Quinn just very natural? Because I feel like we didn't have time to like kind of meet each other and like, you know, have that bonding kind of a session. You just kind of pop on and do it. So was that chemistry very natural for you and Quinn, like right off the bat?
Yeah, I think so. We just went right into it. You know, sometimes things just click. And yeah, we only had a table read before that. So yeah, it was just, but it's just like the real soaps. You just hit the ground running. I mean,
yeah.
You just gotta do it. I know, I love it. And then you, of course, and Carolina Sivas, where she played Lake, and we had her on the show. How's it been like working with her? Her character's always working all the time. But how's it been working with her? I was like, she's always stuffing stuff behind the bar, and it's like, oh my goodness, she's always working. Poor thing. What's it like been working with her?
it's really interesting because we're both sort of coming from the same perspective. Neither one of us have truly dealt with this in our real lives, but it's really easy to apply other experiences. And we probably come from very different like dating backgrounds. So I think that works with the opposites attract sort of thing. Because that's sort of how we see it, as a Juliet situation.
Juliet situation. I like that.
So Katelynn has been on this wonderful journey. First, it's just her bubble with her and Lakin, and then everything is kind of exposed. And then I feel like she feels a sense of relief that now her mother knows, and now it's just kind of maybe keeping it out of the public eye. If you Lacretia had to give Katelynn relationship advice, what would it be?
Girl, chill. Like, Katelynn's a lot more dramatic than I am. I'm probably more of the Lakin, like the too chill in reality, which is why it's fun to play that side, because I mean, I'm almost too laid back, for obvious reasons, if you ever read my Twitter. But yeah, and that, yeah, it is one of those things that it's like, okay, it's fun to play this dramatic, just like I'm sure it was fun for like Susan Lucci to play Erica Kane, because that's so not like her. And yeah, but it's just like, girl, chill. Like, their little breakup, I mean, I say this as the person listening, not so much the actor in the scene. It's like, oh my God, so much drama. How old are you, honey? Like,
that's a great question. That's good. I mean, because she is dramatic. It's just like, okay, girl. But I guess the stakes are high on some level. I mean, growing up in that environment, I'm sure it's just like everything's dramatic. I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure it's a lot for Katelynn. I mean, she's coming from this conservative family, this political conservative family, and she's just trying to live her life with her girlfriend that manages this club. Like, that's all she's trying to do, and she doesn't need all this extra pressure of like politics and conservative and different thoughts and stuff like that. That's probably why she's so dramatic.
Yeah, but I think she feeds on the drama, and I can draw from a lot of people I've known that are like Katelynn, where it's like, you act like that's what you want, but really you love being in everybody's business.
We'll discuss afterwards, Tony, more about you.
I don't know what you mean. I don't live for drama.
Look at you, the way you said it.
Right. Well, also with Katelynn's character, when we were first introduced to her, you know, she was having a conversation with her brother Colin, and in walks, you know, the talk of the town, Leslie. And how do you how does she really feel about Leslie? Because I feel like she is Team Colin, but like she's not so mad to where she walked up to Leslie and was like, girl. But like, how do you think Katelynn really feels about Leslie and what she did to Colin?
Oh, here's the thing: is if Katelynn felt like she could get away with it, she would have killed Leslie. I mean, you know, and that's the thing is Katelynn, to be all the drama, I don't think she's an idiot. So she knows when to keep her mouth shut and to let it play out. And I think at this point, she's like, oh, Leslie's with, you know, Alex, and he's a bad guy. So she just kind of feels like she's getting what she deserves in a way. Karma. But she just hates that her brother is suffering. But yeah she's like, karma, bitch.
Right, very true. You know, I mean, I just think it's so interesting to get your character really kind of was very interested in your Aunt Melanie. Was very interested. It's like, oh, okay, and try to talk to her, and because you're the one who tells Colin there's an Aunt Melanie and everything here, and this episode 11. But you're like kind of middle of you saw the drama firsthand between Mom and Auntie. You were front row, popcorn. You were like right there. I thought that was interesting for you. It was if they had your character there for that.
Yeah, that was actually probably one of my favorite scenes to tape. And since we're not filming, I'll just say tape. But because Beth, and Elizabeth did these scenes on our own. We really worked through them because it was such a big blow up, that scene. So that was really fun to be able to work with, you know, an icon like Beth, sort of one-on-one in that group, and sort of we delved more into the dynamics and understanding that. And I think because Katelynn and Colin are so close, Katelynn is very interested to see why her mother doesn't share that same relationship with her sister, and she doesn't really know a lot. And I think that's one of the more endearing qualities of Katelynn, is this internal curiosity, which I relate to as well.
And these two episodes, we literally, in episode 12 especially, Colin and Melanie get to know each other a little bit.
Yes.
I was like, oh, so they meet up. And he's like,
well, they run into each other.
Run into each other.
But it's interesting that he mentioned how like he had this instant connection with her without even like looking up at her. And I'm like, It just reminds me of that Shirley Caesar song, No Charge. Have you ever heard it? She's like, for the 9 months I carried you, growing inside me. And I'm like, yeah. You should listen to that.
Yes. You only saying 10 seconds of it, so it's good. We're not going to get charged. No, but it's funny because they always say the connection between mother and child. We all know, basically by the episode, we figure out that Connor is actually Colin. Because I kept saying, Mom over there keeps talking about, don't leave my child out of this. Colin don't need to know who you are. I'm like, why is she like, all of a sudden it's like, leave Colin alone. Leave Colin alone.
Leave Colin alone.
Leave Colin alone. It was complete. I was like, there's something fishy going on here. And we got confirmation.
Can she
and I kind of thought that.
Yeah.
Can she leave the lockbox unlocked?
The lockbox. Lockbox.
It's
So
like
again,
she reaches for the lockbox. Just keep it on lock, girl.
Girl, keep going back and forth to it, putting out pictures and stuff. I'm like,
right.
Girl, that
Again, see, that song would be playing. For the 9 months I carried you.
Oh,
You know.
this song is reminiscent of Nina and Nell and the necklace and all that.
Yes,
but,
it is.
You know,
After a hospital, yes.
I gotta say, you know, Colin and Melanie certainly play that better as having that instant connection.
They did, they do. And so
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of funny that we had a feeling this was going to happen, so it did kind of fruition. So now it's kind of like how they get together. Do they get together? Does Colin find out? Because I was trying to do this we were trying to do this whole math thing a few episodes ago. We're like, okay, so they mentioned that they had a miscarriage or something, and then they got you, and then they adopted him. I mean, it was like, okay, what's going on? But now we see what's happening. They got him as a kid, so that's why, you know, I'm like,
But it sounds like to me, like they really wanted a child.
Yes.
Especially after having the miscarriage. I feel like Melanie was not in a great space or in a great relationship to raise a child. So I feel like there was an agreement to like make this tough decision to have Colin be raised with them, so that the baby is also
right. That's the last piece we don't know yet. Right, that's the last piece. We got
who knows?
Right,
yeah.
Backstory on Melanie now, because she told Colin, I met this guy. So now you're right. So that's the piece. We got to figure out that piece of like how to go from there to them having Colin.
Yeah, I feel like that because it was kind of like that ideal relationship of like, oh my God, everything is wonderful. This is a wonderful man. Oh my God, I'm in heaven. Oh my God, I'm floating on cloud 9. Heaven knows this is not the way it should be.
Knows. It's not the way it
should be. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, oh, you like that? This is. Like I feel like
Elaine was drunk too. Drunk back in the day, so it's like,
oh yeah,
there's a lot that we don't know. You're right. There's a lot that we need to. I need that link. Like, how did that? Because why are you so angry at her though? You have her child. It's like, why are you so angry?
Well, because remember, Melanie been gone for 28 years. Like she just been, you know, I don't know, sailing around the world, you know, for more than 80 days. And then also, you know, reasons why one would come home when your parents die. It's like, and Melody was still like, you know, like just MIA.
That's true. You're right.
So Elaine is like, bitch, I don't like you. I don't like you. Thank you for the kid. I don't like you. Why are you here? You've been gone for 28 years. Stay gone for 28 more.
Okay.
But what's the reason why Melanie decided to come back?
Well, she run into folks. She met Donovan too. And they had a little flirty. So Melanie all over the place. She running everybody.
Doing all that jogging and stuff. He was probably jogging all shirtless and stuff.
Sweaty,
looking all glistening and stuff. And just, you know, all like, man.
And they said she was smiling, batting her eyes or whatever. Like, okay.
I was too when I was listening to it. They were like Donovan and tattoos and running and jogging, and I was just like, I
was like, I'll take that. Okay, that works for me.
I would have been the gay sitting across all this running, talking about, oh hey, and then been upset when him and Melanie started talking, be like, oh girl, and then just.
And then you got Katelyn's father out there threatening Emma. He had a little showdown with Emma, and she fought back. I love Jeannie Young; she's hilarious, but she fought back.
Yeah, I know I shouldn't like Emma, but I do because Jeannie is just so good.
Jeannie makes it so good. She makes it really good. That's why I love like Emma, because she's kind of a bad person, right? She's
big time.
Right, she is.
Yeah, she's two-timing my brother and lying about it.
She was like, listen, you ain't about to tell me what to do with me and my baby.
He was like, go ahead.
No, it's just I'm gonna talk to who I want to talk to. I'm gonna answer whatever questions about. You ain't about to shut me up. I say who, I say when, I say how much.
Okay, she was like that, but he was like, oh honey, he started laughing at her. He was like, I'm in charge, and she was like, no, you ain't.
Ain't?
I was like, oh, she pushed back. I was like, she didn't get all scary and everything. You know, she had that morning sickness. She perked up and was like, no MFer. If I want to talk to whoever I'm going to talk to, I'm going to talk to them. Like you said, Tony. Like,
Yeah, James, or maybe Lacretia, maybe you've seen it too. Did y'all ever see I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember when Don Lewis's character had cramps?
Yes.
That's what I pictured Emma when she was getting morning sickness, and then all of a sudden he kept coming after her, and she was like, you know, I'm sick, you know, maybe you should leave, and then she was just
yeah, exactly. She was like.
Yeah.
Because first Alex was getting on her nerves at first. She was kind of like, I don't have time for your shit right now either. She was kind of like, I'm like, you know, I'm doubled over in pain. I gotta go throw up for a second. But he was like, I'm staying, and she was like, okay. But then they end up having this kind of like recounting of their story. So we got the whole story again, and they were kind of laughing at the end, kind of like, okay, let's get our story straight. And I say, no, you're going against Colin, but I like it. I kind of like it though. Like, I don't want to see. So do I want to see Emma succeed? I mean, I guess I do in a weird way. I'm like, what do I want? Because I love Colin so much. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah, we as listeners, we love our bad girls. I mean, I love me some Ava Jerome on General Hospital. So Emma's sort of that character, and I hate to say it, but you kind of root for her, even though as Katelynn, I want to stab her and push her down the stairs. And
I know. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's just because she had, I mean, even though she's like wrapped up in this whole scheme, she does have a heart. You know what I mean? Like,
I think so.
You know,
she's not Alex.
Yeah. Which Alex is very questionable.
He is. And so as of now, it's Alex's baby. Who knows what's going to happen with that? And any twists come out of there. And I had a little chuckle, because they do this sometimes.
Wait, is whose baby?
Alex's baby.
Alex, yeah.
Passing it off as Colin's. They said it on this episode.
Yeah, he's going around town impregnating everyone, I guess.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Interesting.
And so, but Emma's mother's name, I had a good chuckle. They do this all the time, little Easter eggs they call it. Lucinda. And I had a chuckle because Lucinda and Emma were characters on what As the World Turns. So that was kind of funny.
So that was the only chuckle?
No, there's another one too.
Can we chuckle about the name of Alex's law firm?
I was going right there. Carlavati and Corday Associates. Okay, Days. I was laughing so hard, Tony.
I was listening to it and I was like, why do those names sound familiar? Because at first I was like, ooh, that's a fancy law firm. And then I was like, Carlavati. Corday.
There's only one.
There's only one, right? There's only one.
I love me some Ron. Sorry.
Me too. I was like, so what's the symbol for the logo for the law firm? An hourglass.
Hourglass.
Oh my God, 2 C's on it. And exactly with 2 C's in it. That'd be
right.
That'd be the symbol. I love that. But yeah, because Alex Miranda are talking about that, how he did a great deal, folks. And he scooped his client out of the hands of Carlavati and Corday Associates. I did check on that one.
Very clever.
So Gunnar is like, he made a phone call to some guy named Roman. I don't know if that's a clue. I don't know if that's like Dave's or this name Roman. Get some dirt on Emma, so that's really interesting. And I was like, okay. But then we got, let's see, go back to, we have 2 other storylines that are, I guess they're 2 different storylines. We'll go to the Stephanie Isaac thing, because that one, and I was just telling Brandon and Christina were on my show last night on IG, and I was saying how they really went at, she fought back too. And it's the first time, I'm being a little shady, the first time we heard race on the show. Leslie says, I'm gonna be a little shady, says, I'm a Black woman. I was like, oh, you are? Not sure about that. They've been very colorblind this whole time. So now we got confirmation. So if she Black, obviously Isaac must be Black too. Yeah. Well, maybe he could be white, I guess, if she's mixed. So I'm saying her speech, and she had her monologue. She said, I'm a Black woman. And I was like, oh.
Well, you know my thoughts.
Yes, we do. Yes. So I'm just a little shady Sunday. I'm going to mention that. That's interesting.
Well,
but it made for a good speech. It made for a good part of the speech.
It did, but and I was like, kudos to Leslie for being like, hold up a minute. I almost feel like she did very classic Black girl. Like she was gonna leave, and she was like,
Wait.
hold up.
No. It's always the comeback when you know it's going to go
Exactly.
down.
Yes. It's like when when somebody goes, are you okay? And then you're like, I'm fine.
Mm.
I just think it's funny how
Totally.
it's very that. But I felt like kudos to her because she really did save his ass while he was out gallivanting with the trollop, okay, and like eating scones and stuff. You know, she's back at the office taking care of stuff, and it's not like she got suspended for knocking boots with the CEO of the magazine.
But you know, I get it on his. There was a good argument back and forth, but on his end, because I guess I'm a father myself, I kind of felt like, okay, baby girl, you're talking a little out of your charge. You know, you don't talk to me that way. I felt when Brandon pulled that father voice out, I was like, I get it. I totally get it, because she was kind of speaking a little out of turn to him, to saying, okay, girl. And he was like, this is my company. He said, this is my company. Oh, I know you want to say, it's my company, bitch. That's his daughter, so he didn't say that. But that's what he was thinking. He's thinking, this is my company, bitch, not yours.
I gave all the kudos to Leslie. I was like, let him have it.
But she was right.
You done sat here and made sure this interview happened and did it as professionally as you could. You might have left out those 3 questions. We all know that you was being shady by doing that, but you tried to pass it off as being professional.
Yes.
However, he deserved every bit of that speech.
But I did have to smile. My quote of the week kind of made me laugh. And he said, you don't have free range. I run this, not you. I had to laugh. Like, I run
he
this.
put her in her place. It's like, yeah.
But she fought back. And I was like, and that was really interesting. I just thought, oh, because you're right. She was about to leave. She was about to do her little, she was about to let it go. And she's like, no. She's like, she stood up for herself. And the fact that the Gunner interview, even though they're family friends, he represents all this stuff that she doesn't believe in, the Trump stuff. I thought it was a great monologue. It was a great speech. I thought it was really great. And we got more of Les. I love Kalia anyway. She's a great voice actress. I love her on there. But their dynamic was like father. It felt like father and daughter. It's like they each were a little wrong in some ways, but she did save the whole thing. And Gunner was impressed. And you know, and Isaac went in to Gunner to apologize, but he was impressed by her. So that's kind of I was thinking, why didn't you take that into consideration, Isaac? He was kind of impressed though. Like he was like, okay, she didn't do bad. I mean, it's like you forgot. You were busy. You forgot. You were you know, hanging out with homegirl.
Yeah.
Gallivanting with a trollop.
But I will say the most surprising
Jezebel.
Brazen Huzzy. No, the thing that was interesting to me was the whole Leslie and Stephanie conversation. They almost came to a meeting of the minds, kind of. They almost kind of, she was like, I had something really serious happen to me last night. I mean, but I can't really tell you, but it was really serious. That's why your dad needed to be there for me. It was kind of like, for a minute there, Leslie, and you know, and then she would say, I lost my parents. It's like, what? And she's like, never mind. And then Leslie, and it kind of went back to the way, but it was like, there was a moment there where there was a little bit of almost like, it reminds me of Nell and Carly back when they had their it was like there was a little, they're enemies kind of still, but there was a little something that was like, ooh, okay. She kind of felt bad for her, and she kind of felt bad for, like, Stephanie really would have been there. She wouldn't have forgot it on purpose. Like, this was not, Stephanie does like her job. I mean, that's the thing. She does like her job.
She just used what she got to get what she wanted.
Right. But I'm saying, but this situation, she wouldn't have, this was like, if this was such huge, she wouldn't have forgotten it. I think I was trying to say, like, trust me, girl, when it comes to my work, I'm really in there. But since she couldn't tell her, I always want to say, just tell Leslie what's going on. Just so I can clue about it. Maybe, but that's, I guess, they're supposed to be enemies, I guess, or frenemies or whatever. You know.
But I also think that they are two very strong-minded, ambitious, determined women. And I think that sometimes that causes friction as well. And then it's like, side note, you slept with my daddy. But I think they do have a lot of very similar traits when it comes to work.
Yeah, they're both very protective of Isaac, which makes sense. And I do feel like even though Stephanie is a trollop, she does actually care about Isaac and her job. And there is that level. And I do feel like Leslie gets that on some way, but there is a little bit of an electric complex going there, but I don't want to get too Freudian.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is there's this whole thing of like losing parents, losing a parent, work, sex. I mean, it really is, it's a little messy. There's a lot going on there. Because Isaac just did celebrate 3-year anniversary of his wife's death. Gunnar brought that up also. They're all interconnected. He has a friend, Isaac has a friendship with Elaine, which is Gunnar's wife. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on in there, which I think is soapy goodness. I love that it's all kind of mixed together. So it's not just cut and dry. But I'm glad that Leslie stood up for herself. And maybe Isaac will think twice. Maybe he'll think, we'll find out in the last couple episodes what happens. But I thought conflict's good. That's good. It was work. It was personal. It was a little bit of everything. And her whole thing about not going to college, how he felt like he kind of handed to her, but she was like, I am working hard. College degrees aren't good. I love her line. So she went to college. It was kind of like, I get that. It's like not everybody has to go to college nowadays. We all 3 of us went to college, but not everybody nowadays has to go to college to be successful. That's kind of a myth now at this point.
Yeah,
I think so. But all 3 of us went to college, so we did it. I did what I was told.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Plus, I came from a different time than you guys, so.
We know where colleges were just being invented then when you went.
Yeah.
Right?
Our classes were on stone tablets, and Moses was one of my teachers.
Yeah.
He was very succinct to the point. He had like 10 points. It was good.
But you went abroad for college, right? You were on Noah's Ark.
You are abroad, apparently. So that's what you get for that.
Interesting. I'm quite fascinated about those times, especially being the second graduating class of a college. I'm very interested in your take on higher education, James Lott Jr.
What's great is that I will always look younger than you, even though I'm older than you are.
No. Never that death becomes her.
That becomes her.
Hour
warning.
I love that movie.
I haven't seen an autumn in years. Yeah. That's going. Okay, so another messy kind of thing. It was a small one, but it's kind of messy a little bit. It's the whole Jonah Miranda thing, because her doctor is Dr. Avery Randolph, but that's who her son Alex is going to meet up with at Dominic Bradford of Opulence magazine. Opulence. The category is
opulence. You own everything.
I love Paris is Burning. Anyway, that's story.
Me too.
But yeah, so there's a little messiness there because she's trying to hide the cancer from the kids, so they don't know. And her and Jonah, are they getting closer? Am I imagining this? Like all of a sudden, are you getting? I mean, he's like, we didn't see any Stephanie and Jonah in these episodes.
I mean, I would assume they are getting closer, and they are, because I think when something major like this happens, it makes you appreciate what you have. So I think it's rekindling their relationship.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
so too. It's very interesting. And again, I love Matthew, and they play it so well. But it's like, wow, okay, like I think they're getting a little closer. And of course, the kids will find out and all that stuff. But I understand. I understand. My mother's went through cancer diagnosis, so I know she didn't tell us at first. She wanted to get all information, her ducks in a row first, and then she called us kids over and told us. And I actually understand that. I wasn't upset. None of us were upset about, why didn't you tell us? It's like, I get it. You're trying to figure this all out. So because you're going to have a million questions. Kids. We had a million questions. So, and luckily my mother is so far cancer free at the moment. She had her lumpectomy. She's going through going through radiation and stuff. But I understand the whole point of kind of like just getting the ducks in a row, figure it all out. You and your husband will talk, because obviously you're spouses. So you'll talk about it first. And at some point, you'll get to the kids. And I thought it was very realistic. I understand that.
Agreed.
That's good. But that was the episode. It wasn't a huge lot. But next week it promises to be the big week. Obviously,
duh.
2 episodes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
More exactly. But yeah, next week, Monday, which is tomorrow, and Friday is the finale, the season 1 finale of Forever in a Day. We'll all be tuning in. Don't make sure you do not want to miss it. See what happens and see what the final scenes are what happens. See what happens to Katelynn's character. See what's going on. All right, before we go on anything, so I mean, what is something you would like to see happen? Season 2. We don't know anything yet. We haven't seen scripts or anything. What would you like to see happen for Katelynn?
For Katelynn, a lot of it has been her sort of supporting Colin a lot, and we don't know where her and Laken are really going yet. And you see that she's out to her mother, but let's see a little bit more of Katelynn like at work, because she is this blogger, but we haven't seen that much. I want to see her at work and her really investigating who took these pictures. That should be fun, especially if it's her and Laken. I always like those things when couples like have an adventure together, and that may be sort of their thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that too. That's a good idea. So kind of like outside forces banding you guys together to. Yeah. That's what I say. We say couples can have, well, like happy endings, but that's one way to keep them together and fight the outside without breaking them up. So we want you guys to stay together. No breaking up, you guys. Keep Laken and Katelynn together. And that lockbox, Melanie. That lockbox.
Lord, keep it unlocked, honey. Keep it on. Just keep the box unlocked.
All kinds. That lockbox is always. It's like another character on the show.
It is. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So Miss Lacretia Lyon, thanks for coming on the show, of course.
Yay.
So your spiel. Tell where they can find you.
Since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one.
There's only one. We've looked. One. Tony Moore, tell your story.
Me? Well, you can find me on Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, Dishin Days _Dishin Days on the Twitter, and of course on our very own YouTube channel, Dishin Days with capital D's. Or you can find Little Chocolate Me at Lounging with Tony on all social media platforms. You can also go buy my t-shirts, books, music. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have all that. I was just trying to make mine longer because I know we're about to sit through the mega of announcements coming up next in look, he's already getting props together. James Lott Jr.
Yes, Tony.
Go ahead. Tell the folks all the stuff you doing.
So kids, first of all, the latest book in the Forever in a Day series is out. It's for the Magnifier, and it's called My Life as a Tabloid. Magnifier series book 1. It's book 1 in the series. Go to Amazon. It's like $5. It's new characters from the Magnifier, plus some of your favorites may show up in there. So check those out. They're fun. Throw them in your purse. Throw them in your backpack. They're good. Amazon under James Lott Jr. books. Check out my interview with Eric Fellows, who was on Days Are Alive 10 years ago, basically. And it's a fun little 10-minute interview. And he's doing a lot of stuff. He's on a show called Purgatory right now. It's on Pop TV, which is really season 2's coming out. But we had a great.
I just giggled because when you said, my buddy Eric Fellows, I thought of Tracy Morgan. I'm Brian Fellows.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I'm Brian Fellows.
That's good. That's a good one. Yes, good. Oops, sorry, Eric. Yes. So that's out now on JLJ Media. It's a. I didn't realize he was on Days Are Alive, and then we started talking about it. He used to have long hair, apparently. He played a guy named Troy Winston. So he is. So check out that little interview there. Of course, you can follow all my music that's out. I have a new song coming out called Summer Song. It's coming out on Tuesday from the movie I scored called Bex. Bex is right now going through the festival circuit. The soundtrack will be out sometime this year, but the song is coming out Tuesday. So you can find it on my channel, James Lott Jr. SoundCloud. And that's all I'm going to say with that. And then just follow me, James Lott Jr., where all the James Lott Jrs are sold at James Lott Jr.
And trust me, they are for sale.
They are for sale. and Mistletoe Road, my Christmas series is coming out November 30th. We finished the casting process. There'll be announcements on JLJ Media everywhere. Follow us there. And follow us on the YouTube channel, JLJ Media. Follow us on all streaming platforms at JLJ Media, everywhere. And then Forever in a Day is on all streaming audio services. So go ahead and wherever you listen to podcasts, check them out there. Find it, look under Forever in a Day. And they're at FAADseries.com. Everyone, please, wherever you are, I know there's lots of weird weather stuff happening. Try to stay safe wherever you are. We had earthquakes here the other night. It was kind of crazy in LA. Everything got shook up in my house. But everyone, please stay safe. And don't try to kill each other.